Hi, I'm Steve Sample with Bama Talk. Don't miss a single episode of Bama Talk Show, available now on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app, and on the web at bigbrainsmedia.com.
This is your Weather Extreme video for Sunday, Mother's Day, May the 12th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks for tuning in, and there's a look at the sky cam from Mount Cheehaw. We can see a little bit of fog down in some of those valleys as we look out over parts of Alabama, and actually the direction we're looking here, we're looking into the state of Georgia. And there's a look at a rather full river, the Tombigbee River down at Demopolis, with mostly clear skies occurring this morning, but again, a few patches of fog around the area. Large high-pressure system this morning centered over about Iowa is going to be settling into the southeastern U.S. and giving us a coolish day. You combine that surface high pressure with a strong upper-level trough extending from the central Great Lakes down across Alabama, and you have the recipe for some cool weather for the next couple of days. As a matter of fact, today we might not get out of the 60s, and yes, it is May. Believe it or not. There's a look at temperatures across the country, and you can see, wow, very warm in the southwestern U.S., but also very chilly. Look at that, 21 degrees way up there in north central United States, and a lot of 27s in that little light blue cyan area. Otherwise, across much of the southeastern U.S., temperatures not too bad. Across much of the southeast, temperatures generally in the 50s. Central Alabama, ranges from about 48 to about 55 across our area, so kind of coolish, but not too bad. But tomorrow morning, look for temperatures to drop down into the lower 40s for many locations, and that means some spots are actually going to get into the 30s. And those blue areas that you see on the watch warning map represent some freeze and frost advisories. Can you believe that? Yes, it is all the way, a third of the way through May, and yet look at all that chilly weather we're experiencing. Rainfall for our area is going to be somewhat limited. The main storm track, as you might be able to tell from this map, is going to be along the northern part of the United States, but we do have a frontal system that will be coming our way on Thursday, and that will be providing us some chance for some scattered showers. Storm Prediction Center is not outlooking any area for day one. We do have a little bit of a C-text area down across the Florida Peninsula. Day two, we have a slight risk up in Idaho and Montana. And then when we get to day three, we're back to C-text that will be in the Great Lakes area. Here's the morning 06Z GFS model run. There's our surface map, and you can see the surface high settling in over Arkansas, so that will be giving us a little bit of breezy conditions today as we see fairly tight pressure gradient and a northerly wind. So if you're taking mom out today, be sure to keep in mind that it may be a little cool with that breeze. Here's the 500 millibar chart for Monday, and you can see our nice deep trough for this time of year, edging out to the east coast of the United States. And underneath that, we'll be seeing the high pressure settle in right over the central Mississippi. So we should see the winds go pretty light, and we should have a very cool morning on Monday morning. Again, temperatures getting down to some pretty chilly values there. When we get to Tuesday, the deep trough is off the east coast, but we're beginning to get under a bit of a ridge. But that little low that's been hanging out over northern Mexico is beginning to eject. It ejects on Wednesday and comes across Oklahoma and Texas. And so I think the weather stays dry for central Alabama, but we certainly see some showers off to our west. That trough crosses the Mississippi River on Thursday, and so that puts us into slightly increased moisture. And as the high settles down over northern Florida, we'll see a little bit more of a southerly flow, moisture increasing, and I think we have at least some reasonable excuse for some showers to be put into the forecast. For Friday, we're kind of a little bit unsettled as we see some little waves in the flow, and so and sort of a little boundary area as you see at the surface across the Ohio and Tennessee River Valley. So probably some threat for some showers, probably a pretty low probability, maybe on the order of 20-30% or so. It's still somewhat a ridging pattern on Saturday, but once again, we've got little disturbances that are passing through the flow. So once again, the possibility of a few showers. It doesn't look like any kind of all-day rains or anything like that. So weekend's going to be fairly nice, with temperatures getting up into the 80s for highs. By Sunday, a week from today, we are watching a fairly strong disturbance coming through Nebraska and Kansas. And that disturbance will be responsible for a surface low that will be over the southwestern Great Lakes region. Not too far from Chicago, actually, with a cold front trailing down into Oklahoma and Texas. So that will be the next weather system. In the meantime, we're staying somewhat in a almost summerish kind of pattern. Extending the forecast out, remember yesterday we noted that there was a pretty substantial trough. Once again, another trough with a fairly cool look for the eastern half of the country, and the GFS is continuing with that look. This is the upper air pattern for 18Z, 1 p.m. on the 22nd. So it looks like some threat of rain in the vicinity of the 20th through the 21st. And then as that trough gets through on the 22nd, we should cool down once again. So May's likely to come in somewhat on the cool side of averages for May. Now, we did see a fairly strong upper ridge by the end of the period. While the ridge is still somewhat there, as you see it up over Canada, for us, the ridge is a little bit weaker, and we do have this kind of lost low over the Four Corners vicinity. So a little bit less of a hot pattern for central part of the country. Well, thanks for tuning into the Weather Xtreme video. James Spann should be back with the next edition first thing on Monday morning. Hope that your day is great. Godspeed.
Thank you for trusting us to be your #1 source for news
in all of Central Alabama.
in back-to-back ratings periods.
More people watched ABC 3340
than any other station in Birmingham.